I just got back from Fort Moore, Georgia for the 2024 Sullivan Cup. That was an incredible experience, and the crews all did really well. This was the first time that I've seen international crews compete in this event. There were the Dutch, the Polish, the Germans, and the Canadians. There was an interest party there of other allied nations who were also interested in competing in the 2026 Sullivan Cup. And I think a lot of those crews stand a really good chance at competing. Namely, the Aussies were out there, the Iraqis were out there, and other Middle East nations, and they all are on Abrams, so they're familiar with the platform. It was a really interesting opportunity for foreign crews who are primarily on Leopard 2s to go over, and for the Bradley crews who are on LAV 6s and other vehicles to go out there and compete on a vehicle they have never really been on. But they did get some train up. They were able to go out a little while prior to get some training on the vehicle so that when it came time to compete, they actually had a few fundamentals built up on the platform, which really helped the Dutch crew move ahead of even some of the American crews and the Polish crews as well. 16 Cavalry Brigade worked their tails off to make sure that all of this event was staffed, that the equipment was out there. So my hat is off to the host units and all of MCOE who really made this thing happen. There was a lot of coordination, a lot of planning, a lot of hard work that went on behind the scenes for some really dedicated folks, and we really need, they really deserve recognition in this as well. The Sullivan Cup, what is that? It is the U.S. Army and invited guests top tank and now top Bradley crew competition. It was named after General Gordon R. Sullivan, who had a very storied career in armor. This competition has been around since, I believe it was 2012. There were numerous events throughout this whole thing, and it all kicked off with the Starry PT test, the Starry PT event, which had rigorous things like the track block shuffle, the road wheel push. Then the crews went off to the rest of the events. And those events included a gunnery table 6 qualification both day and night, react to UAV or small unmanned aerial vehicle. They had a maintenance lane where the crews had to change an entire track section and replace the third inner road wheel. Some of those crews had never done that on an Abrams before or on Bradleys before. And then there was a medical lane followed by a stress chute where the crews had to tackle the Texas Star, clear a plate rack in a specific sequence, and do some other pistol drills. The last event was the Thunder Run. The Thunder Run is a rigorous challenge of various events. It starts off with a run in the heat, the humidity. The crews really got after it, and then they dragged themselves across the field, ran various stations like finding a point on a map, vehicle ID, calling for fire, assembling a radio, getting a radio check. There were so many different stations throughout this entire event that were just truly incredible to see, and see how these crews could just push through. And at the end of the Thunder Run event, the Polish were the first ones to finish, followed by 11th ACR. Now, who took the competition? In an upset, depending on how you look at it, the 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment out of Tennessee took top tank. Top Bradley crew was the 1st Cavalry Division team. I'll leave a whole list of rankings in the description below so you can check and see how everybody did. But everybody worked their ass off, and just every unit should be proud. Every tanker who competed, every Bradley crew member who competed should be incredibly proud of their performance and the fact that they made it to the Cup. We are excited to see who is going to win Sullivan Cup 2026. Now, all of this couldn't have been possible without, one, the host unit, which we've already said, but also sponsors. USABOT was out there just in the suck, in the heat, manning the refreshments. They brought coolers out. They brought tons of folks out there to staff the lanes to be able to provide cool down refreshments to the staff and the competing crews. It was really cool to see these former tankers and their families out there just loving on the community, being part of the community. And it is just such a cool organization. I highly recommend you check out the United States Army Brotherhood of Tankers. Really, really cool group of folks out there with some really cool stories. And just my hat is off to them. There was also Operation Half Pint out there with a half-scale Abrams tank that had a CO2 powered cannon that can shoot stress balls, t-shirts, you name it, they were out there. Also, Soldier Fuel was out there donating stuff. And then there was a few other sponsors, and I want to get to the sponsors that helped partner with me, which is Strike Industries. They supplied some cool stuff for the crews in the way of pistol grips and just some cool stuff, keychains and stuff that goes inside the pistol grips, some really cool stuff. And Citadel Defense. Citadel Defense is a firearms training organization that is founded by a Marine Corps veteran, Nick Whitty. Great dude. Really appreciate him giving some BCM foregrips, some Magpul furniture for the crews to put on their rifles to make them more lethal and just to have better ergonomics on their rifles. But then again, you're only as lethal as your level of training. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you watching this. Please check the Facebook page, the TikTok, the YouTube, the Instagram, all the different tankers and tankers official social medias that I run. And I co-run the Facebook page with another Canadian gentleman. All of the footage, all of the photos are all going to be posted. Really appreciate seeing everybody out there. And then again, to those Sullivan Cup crews, good job. Treat them rough, join the tanks.